Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by Fully Funded Life. My name is Joe Sangle, and I'm one of your guides to help you, yes, you live a fully funded life. What is a fully funded life? That's being able to do exactly what you've been put on earth to do, regardless of the cost or the income potential that it might have. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Megan Hibbard. Are you fired up today?
Fired up. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
It's the beginning of March.
It's the beginning of March. Yes, it is my birthday month.
My birthday month.
And it's your birthday month.
I just had mine.
I wonder if maybe somebody watching on YouTube, they could comment if it was their birthday month.
Yeah.
And what number episode are we on?
Yes, we are on 244.
244 episodes. Can you believe that?
It's wild.
That's pretty unbelievable. I've been on almost all of them. You've been on almost all of them. There's been a couple times where you've been on and I've not been. Other times I've been on, you've not been on. But I mean, that's a long journey. We've been excited to be able to serve you each step of the way. And we're doing a series this month.
Yes.
So we just finished the month of love, the LOVE month.
That was fun.
Now we're into the spring season. So tell everybody what we're going to focus on.
Yes. So this month we are focusing on your march to debt freedom.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Pun intended.
The march to debt freedom.
Debt freedom. Yes. So we're going to be talking about all things debt this month. So we'll cover a couple different things. We'll cover, talking about debt. We'll also cover how to get rid of your debt. And then the last one is going to be the last Monday of the month is going to be fun because we're going to do a Q&A about your debt questions.
Wow. That's going to be great. Hey, and if you're listening and you're like, hey, I'm ready to pay off some debt, this is going to be the month for you. I mean, we're going to focus on every possible angle and attitude about debt, how to address it, practical and mentally, which is really important as well. So today, how are we going to kick off this March? The journey of 10,000 steps. Maybe it's 1,000 steps. Maybe it's a journey of $10,000.
Was that a horse?
$20,000. No, it was soldiers marching. Oh. So you thought it was a horse. That's a lot of people marching. That's what that is. It's awesome.
Sorry, I missed that.
You didn't think that. Well, the people on YouTube, they think
I'm sure
that sounded exactly like soldiers marching.
I picture where the coconuts rubbing together.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Monty Python's.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Or, something like that. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, something like that.
Something, yeah.
All right, let's go. We're going to march to debt freedom. Focus.
Okay. So we are talking, our title for this episode is Imagine Zero. So you might be saying, what does that mean? Well, we are going to tell you what that means.
That's right.
So our first point for this episode of Imagining Zero is to get a vision of debt freedom.
Right. I think it's so important if you're going to truly march to debt freedom, that they've said, the journey of 10,000 miles starts with a single step. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Whatever the journey is, it starts with movement. And why would somebody go on that journey? It's because they had a vision of what the finish line was like. Yeah. And many times it's not just the finish line, it's about the journey. And I think it's really important for people when they're attacking debt to imagine, to have that vision of debt freedom. Like imagine what that's like. Yeah. Like give some things that are true if zero is the case. If you're imagining zero debt, what does that mean?
All right. So maybe zero debt means no debt payments.
Wow.
So maybe you can imagine that for a
So
moment.
let's stop there for a second because we want everybody to imagine that.
Yeah.
How much money right now in the month that you're operating in right now is going out to service debt? So we're not talking about a utility bill. We're talking about something that you owe money on and you're actively paying it off. A car payment.
Student loan debt.
Student loan.
Credit card.
Credit cards.
Furniture.
Right?
Honeymoon.
Honeymoon.
I can think of a lot.
Whatever it is. Lots of things that people have financed. It could be a truck. It could be a motorcycle. It could be an ATV. It could be a boat. Whatever that thing is or those things are that you're making payments on every single month. and they are not paid off every month. Imagine no debt payments. I mean, I think if you're going to truly get a vision that lasts, and this is the thing that confounds me. And I wish it wasn't the case. I think a lot of people listening are going to agree with me that they wish this wasn't the case. But there's a fundamental reality that I can get debt really rapidly. If I want to go get a car with a car loan, I have decent credit. I have excellent credit. I can go down to the car dealer, and I can tell you right now, within 2 hours, I can probably spend a year's worth of income in 2 hours.
They will chase you down.
Serious. Yeah. And here's the problem, though. I can spend it really fast. But then if I come to my senses and say, what have I done? I want to pay this off. Now, I can't do that in 2 hours. Most people can't do that in 2 hours. Yeah. And so what does that require? That requires perseverance. That requires sticking with it. That requires a series of really good financial decisions and telling yourself no. How are you going to do that? The only way you're going to do that is to have a clear vision of what debt freedom really looks like, and that it is clear and it is compelling enough to help you stick to the journey. So when you imagine zero with us, we're imagining no debt payments. Yeah. And for the average family, that's $750 to $1,500 a month in after-tax payments. That's between $9,000 and $18,000 in after-tax take-home pay money. Get fired up. Yeah. Okay. Well, when we're imagining zero, if we have no car payments, no truck payments, no credit card payments, no furniture payments, we don't owe mom or dad, a brother, sister, or a friend. Well, that gives you clarity. That helps you say, when I prepare a budget, think about how much easier a budget is if you have no debt payments.
Yeah, you just skip over that whole section.
Right. When you can actually put a line item in the budget that says, we're going to go have fun, whatever fun is for you. We're going to go to that concert. We're going to include this many rounds of golf. We are going to be able to buy those extra little cute clothes for the kids or for ourselves, right? Whatever it might be, you can include them and still save money and still have excess. When you imagine zero and you truly start to get a glimpse of what that could be like, it almost is like getting a really good slap upside the face, or it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever done this, when you're driving and you're tired and it's during the winter and you roll down the window and you play freeze out. Have you ever done this?
Just stay awake, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a shock, right?
Yeah.
Well, all we're trying to do here as we march to debt freedom this month is we want to start by getting a vision of what that's like. Roll down the window, get that shock of cold air to wake you up, to get out of your month-to-month doldrum and say, what could life be if I imagine zero debt? Yeah. It's pretty good.
That's good.
Okay.
All right. So number 2 would be, what will you be able to do that you can't do right now when you achieve debt freedom?
So that's getting a vision, isn't it? Yeah. Like, it's the what. What will you be able to do that you cannot do right now because of debt payments? So when you achieve debt freedom, when you go on this march and you actually successfully complete the march, what will you be able to do? And I remember for me, one of the compelling reasons why I wanted to attack my debt is I had this dream to own some land. I grew up on a farm in southern Indiana, south central Indiana, I guess you would describe it. Had some cornfields, but right where the hills start in southern Indiana. And so I love being in the woods. I love being in the creeks. I love being free and away from people and out there with just, my dog and sometimes most times with my twin brother. And it was just awesome. And here I am, a country boy a farm boy stuck in a subdivision. And let me tell you, driving a John Deere tractor around that I did own in a subdivision with no purpose for it, didn't really make a lot of sense until you understood my roots. Yeah. And so it really just shared with everybody, hey, this guy ain't long for the subdivision. He's got to get out of here, before he starts like plowing our yards and planting corn in it.
You never know.
Yeah. And so I had this dream to own land, but I don't know if you've noticed, land costs money.
It does.
Sometimes lots of money.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say most of the times. Well, I all of a sudden realized, hey, if I got rid of my debt payments and I was able to save those or the vast majority of those each month, coupled with some pay raises over time, I could save a substantial amount of money and maybe, just maybe, almost absolutely, not it moved from maybe to absolutely, I could buy land that I could go run around on, hunt, fish, hike, arrowhead hunt, harvest mushrooms off of, muscadines off of, firewood off of, camp on, right? All these different things that you can do on land. And I do plant a few crops on them. And all of a sudden, having that vision helped me do something as a spender that I'd never been able to do before, which was stick to a budget and stop signing up for more debt. Yeah. I got a vision. I imagined zero debt. And when I saw that zero debt meant zero payments, which meant long-term, I could buy land, poof, I was in. And, you know, think about other people, you know, what could it mean to them?
Yeah. I think for me and for us, it kind of is because we currently don't have debt payments. We're still paying off our house, but because we're not working on that rung of the ladder, we are able to have eyes to see other things. So one of the things I've talked about before is investment properties. Something, start with one investment property, maybe go more, but start with one. But you know, we're able to have our eyes open for those. We're able to look for those because we're not focusing on debt. We're able to see opportunities that we wouldn't necessarily see if we were focusing on paying off debt.
Right. And so is there any chance this investment property might be near salty air and an ocean?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
One day that is definitely the dream.
Okay.
I think the first one would be probably in Anderson so that we're able to manage it a little
locally.
Better.
Yeah.
But I have looked at beach ones and they get you on the beach ones because they tell you what you could make off of the investment. I'm like, that's really smart to sell a beach house and tell you what you could make if you turned it into an investment property. And so I feel like that's like the hard thing is you're like, oh, I could make that much money.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So I think for us, that's one thing that we're able to have a different vision, different eyes to see opportunity when they arise. We would be able to move forward on that, whereas we might not be able to if we were paying off debt.
Right. And that's really important. And, you know, you're wanting to do that to generate oxen, this type 2 income where you don't have to work for it. Also to fulfill a dream potentially as a beach property. For some people, it is just as simple as being able to breathe.
Yeah.
Like to have breathing room, to have margin. And that's where they start with. That's the vision of debt freedom is, I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. That is a great place to start. But one of the things that you'll see as you get this vision and imagine zero is you're going to start to understand that you can see much farther. And you will be able to dream in ways that maybe you can't dream right now if you're bound up in a pile of debt, the tangle of debt. I was recently coaching someone and they have the debt monster choking them out. And it wasn't for lack of income. It was life happened. Marriage went south. They've went through divorce. There's been, you know, as in many divorces, they're not exactly seeing eye to eye on how stuff should get split up, including sharing of custody for the children, that sort of things. In the midst of it, has ran up enormous amounts of debt. And, you know, all of a sudden, when you've done really well and you had excellent credit and all of that got stripped away and you realize just how quickly this debt thing that you thought you can control choked you out, it's really sensational to watch. I mean, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, as I was coaching them and I was trying to get them to think again, to dream again, to imagine zero, for them, about as far as I could get them to dream is that breathing room, margin.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But what I do want for everybody who's going to go on this march this month And by the way, I think we're getting ready to launch a new challenge, right? A debt payoff challenge. And people are going to be able to join it with Fully Funded Life. If you're not part of Fully Funded Life, check it out at fullyfunded.life. We'll have a link in the show notes. But we're going to focus on attacking and getting rid of the first debt really fast. Because if you get a victory really fast, it's kind of like on that diet. If you go on this diet, this fitness plan, and you get on the scale and you've lost 7 pounds that first week, woo, get fired up. But if you've gained a pound and they're like, don't worry, you just gained muscle mass. And the next week you gain another pound, don't worry, it takes 5, 6, 7 months for you to start seeing results. You're going to be like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And that happens for a lot of people in their debt journeys.
Yeah.
So we want you to get success really fast. So we're going to work with you on that. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Hey, what's your take on all this?
Yeah. So as I was thinking about it, I feel like a lot of times when people are in debt, when you're in debt, when friends in debt, whoever it might be, if it's not you, you have a hard time dreaming. You have a hard time imagining the zero. You have a hard time, you're just so focused on whether it's the bills have racked up and you just can't seem to catch a break. You can't seem to, get debt free, that kind of thing. You have a hard time dreaming. And so for me and for my take, I want to really encourage you to take some time to sit down and really focus on what it would be like if that wasn't there. So what it would be like if you didn't have the car payment or, the student loan payment or whatever it is that's kind of, holding you back from being able to dream, and really fight through and take some time to just, whether it's writing it out or talking about it with your spouse or a friend or whoever it is, but really fighting for that time to dream and to think about what it would be like and what you could accomplish. And just taking that time, because I feel like a lot of times it feels so heavy that you feel like you can't.
Feels impossible.
Yeah.
So why bother?
Yeah.
And I would just say, if you're in that cycle, a lot of times people think that because no one around them is debt free. So it's time for you to get exposed to other people who are debt free. And that's one of the reasons why we offer this podcast is you're getting exposed to people who are debt free,
right,
and hearing their stories. My angle, the Sango angle, is I want to just go to a couple Bible verses. Proverbs 29:18 says, without vision, the people perish. And that is just so true. That vision drives people. And then Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets that our herald may run with it. In other words, write the vision, make it plain. So I would encourage you to build on what Megan said, is to fight for that time and write it down. Yeah. Write it down, put it in writing, put it in a place where you'll see it regularly. Maybe it's on that mirror in the bathroom when you wake up. You'll see it. Maybe it's on the dash of your car. Every morning you get in there, it says, I will be debt free by January of next year. And you have it listed. And you say, and I'm going to become debt free because of, so I can do. When you do that, it will help motivate you. And I can't motivate you like you can motivate you, and like your dreams can motivate you. And so I was motivated by my dreams. You'll be motivated by your dreams. And so we have that next step that people can take. Tell everybody what that is.
All right. So we are going to be starting a debt payoff challenge. So
I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, it's for our members of Fully Funded Life. So you can jump in. We will help you work towards getting rid of some debt. You'll be able to make quick steps towards your debt freedom, like Joe talked about. So you'll be able to see, hopefully, some quick progress that will happen really fast, which will help motivate you and keep you going. So.
Absolutely. Again, the whole focus of the debt payoff challenge is to enlighten you into options that exist before you, and then help you eliminate your first debt really fast, like maybe even within the first month. So we really hope you'll check it out. It's the debt payoff challenge. Free to all. It's included with all members to Fully Funded Life. Check it out at fullyfunded.life. I would just encourage you for the rest of the day. You've listened to this podcast episode. What can you do? Well, if you're not part of Fully Funded Life, consider joining that. If you are part of it, go ahead and register for the challenge. It's included in your annual membership. But secondly, think all day about imagining zero. What would life be if you didn't have to make those payments? And then let that inspire you and propel you to go forward. Hey, it's an honor to serve you each and every Monday. Again, all month long, we're going to be marching towards debt freedom. We hope you'll join us right back here, same time, same place next week as we march to debt freedom. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.